Hi, Bridie. I'm back again. I kind of got cut off there, and so I'm going to pick up where I left off. Uh, they are now in Bunce's mighty storehouse, and there are lots of ducks and geese hanging from the ceiling all ready to eat. Just feast your eyes on that, cried Mr. Fox, dancing up and down. What do you think of it, eh? Pretty good grub. Suddenly, as though springs had been released in their legs, the three hungry small foxes and the ravenously hungry badger sprang forward to grab the luscious food. Stop, ordered Mr. Fox. This is my party, so I shall do the choosing. The others fell back, licking their chops. Mr. Fox began prowling around the storehouse, examining the glorious display with an expert eye. A thread of saliva slid down one side of his jaw and hung suspended in midair, and then snapped. We mustn't overdo it, he said. Mustn't give the game away. Mustn't let them know what we've been up to. We must be neat and tidy and take just a few of the choicest morsels. So, to start with, we shall have 4 plump young ducks. He took them from the shelf. Oh, how lovely and fat they are. No wonder Bunce gets a special price for them in the market. All right, Badger, lend me a hand to get them down. You children can help as well. There we go. Goodness me, look how your mouths are watering. And now, I think we had better have a few geese. 3 will be quite enough. We'll take the biggest. Oh my, you'll never see finer geese than these in a king's kitchen. Gently does it, that's the way. And what about a couple of nice smoked hams? I adore smoked ham, don't you, Badger? Fetch me that step ladder, will you please? Mr. Fox climbed up the ladder and handed down 3 magnificent hams. And you like bacon, Badger? I'm mad about bacon, cried Badger, dancing with excitement. Let's have a side of bacon, that big one up there. And carrots, Dad, said the smallest of the 3 small foxes. We must take some of those carrots. Don't be a twerp, said Mr. Fox. You know we never eat things like that. It's not for us, Dad. It's for the rabbits. They only eat vegetables. My goodness me, you're right, cried Mr. Fox. What a thoughtful little fellow you are. Take 10 bunches of carrots. Soon all this lovely loot was lying in a neat heap upon the floor. The small foxes crouched close, their noses twitching, their eyes shining like stars. And now, said Mr. Fox, we shall have to borrow from our friend Bunce 2 of those useful push carts over in the corner. He and Badger fetched the push carts, and the ducks and geese and hams and bacon were loaded onto them. Quickly, the push carts were lowered through the hole in the floor. The animals slid down after them. Back in the tunnel, Mr. Fox again pulled the floorboards very carefully into place so that no one could see they had been moved. My darlings, he said, pointing to 2 of the 3 small foxes, take a cart each and run back as fast as you can to your mother. Give her my love and tell her we are having guests for dinner. The badgers, the moles, the rabbits, and the weasels. Tell her it must be a truly great feast, and tell her the rest of us will be home as soon as we've done one more little job. Yes, Dad, right away, Dad, they answered, and they grabbed a trolley each and went rushing off down the tunnel. There they go. What do you think the one more job they have to do is? What are they going to do next? We'll see. Chapter 14, Badger Has Doubts. Just one more visit, cried Mr. Fox. And I bet I know where that'll be, said the only small fox now left. He was the smallest fox of them all.
Where? Asked Badger.
Well, said the smallest fox, we've been to Bogus, and we've been to Bunce, but we haven't been to Bean. It must be Bean.
You are right, said Mr. Fox, but what you don't know is which part of Bean's place we are about to visit.
Which? They both said together.
Aha, said Mr. Fox, just you wait and see.
They were digging as they talked. The tunnel was going forward fast.
Suddenly,
excuse me. Suddenly Badger said,
Doesn't this worry you just a tiny bit, Foxy?
Worry me? Said Mr. Fox. What?
All this stealing.
Mr. Fox stopped digging and stared at Badger as though he had gone completely dotty.
My dear old furry frump, he said, do you know anyone in the whole world who wouldn't swipe a few chickens if their children were starving to death?
There was a short silence while Badger thought deeply about this.
You are far too respectable, said Mr. Fox. There's nothing wrong with being respectable, Badger said.
Look, said Mr. Fox, Bogus and Bunce and Bean are out to kill us. Do you realize that, I hope?
I do, Foxy, I do indeed, said the gentle Badger. But we're not going to stoop to their level. We don't want to kill them.
I should hope not, said Mr. Badger.
We wouldn't dream of it, said Mr. Fox.
We shall simply take a little food here and there to keep us and our families alive, right?
I suppose we'll have to, said Badger. And if they want to be horrible, let them, said Mr. Fox. We down here are decent, peace-loving creatures.
Badger laid his head on one side and smiled at Mr. Fox. Foxy, he said, I love you.
Thank you, said Mr. Fox. And now let's get on with the digging.
5 minutes later, Badger's front paws hit against something flat and hard.
What on earth is this? He said. It looks like a solid stone wall.
He and Mr. Fox scraped away the soil.
It was a wall.
But it was built of bricks, not stones. The wall was right in front of them, blocking their way.
Now, who in the world would build a wall under the ground? Asked Badger.
Very simple, said Mr. Fox. It's the wall of an underground room, and if I am not mistaken, it is exactly what I'm looking for. And what do you think it is? Here's a picture of Foxy and Badger. I hope it's clear for you. Mr. Fox is so elegant, isn't he? That thing around his neck, it's like a scarf, but they call it a cravat. And he's got on a vest under his coat. He's just very stylish. Do you like Foxy? I think he's a pretty cool fox. I have to stop there, kiddo. You're going to have to wait till tomorrow to hear the end of the story. But I'll get up early and get it off to you. I love you very much. Hope I get to see you pretty soon, 'cause I sure miss you. Toodaloo.